CGP.
Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
Video games, culture, anime, toys, pinball, tabletop.
CGP.
Cleveland
Gaming Podcast.
Here we go.
CGP.
This is the Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
CGP.
Time to press start.
What's up, fellow nerds, gamers, and everyone in between? You. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. You're listening to the Cleveland Gaming Podcast, the best podcast about video games in all the land, the Cleveland. My name is Corey. I'm the program director, MC of the Cleveland Gaming Classic, number 3 on the leaderboard. Because I got number 1 with me. He's here. He's ready. And he is going for the touchdown. It is the final boss, Tom Jenkins. Tom, you ready to get on the gridiron today?
Ready, set, hut, 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 hut. I can go a long time doing that. Hut, 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 hut. Anyone know what that is? Huh?
No, I know. It's resonating. It's not exactly clicking. Is that actually Tecmo?
It is Tecmo.
That's what I thought. I remember, like, you could really make the huts go an obnoxiously long time,
let
right?
it go forever. It's just like anything. You don't hit any button, and that thing could have been playing from the 90s until today. So
You're the Tecmo expert between you and I. Is that the way to, like, really troll your opponent? Is just like let that go for long? You just like give them a look on the side and be like, "How you doing?"
there's a lot of ways to troll your opponent in Tecmo Super Bowl for the NES. For clarification, a lot of it is through substitutions, through that, just play calling in general. But yeah, that's one of them for sure.
And we're going to get into a lot of the nuances about Tecmo Super Bowl because we have ourselves a local guest who is part of that community and helps out CGC quite a bit. But before we get to that, few bits of housekeeping and upkeeping. This show is brought to you by all of you for listening. Thank you for that time. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like all those social media, what have yous, wherever you can find the Cleveland Gaming Podcast. And of course, CGC itself, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and download us wherever you can. Those little analytics, they help us out a lot. But you just being here, that means a lot to us as well. So I say let's go ahead and get our red flags for review ready because we're bringing on a Tecmo Cleveland legend, Tom.
Hike.
For once in the history of CGP, I did not take the first shot across the bow when it came to ball jokes. That honor goes to Kevin this week because he was right on top of that, hiding the hair with that little tricorn hat that your kids have that you put on. What was that hat, Tom? Where in the world? What do you think this is? Assassin's Creed America?
Yeah, so usually before the podcast, there are a couple of things that happen. Number 1 is I validate the agenda for the day. Number 2 is I tell Corey.
No, let's be clear. It's not validating, Kevin, the agenda. It's reading it for the first time.
And the second thing is then saying, I'll be right back, I have to pee. So on the way back from the bathroom, I may have found what did you call it? What kind of hat is it?
I thought it was a tricorn hat. You know, like the triple tip. Kevin,
I don't know what the official pirate term is, but I would just assume it's a pirate hat, something I've seen in Pirates of the Caribbean or, I don't know, like you said, Assassin's Creed. It's a three-sided hat.
Tricorn hat. I just Googled it as we were talking. That's official. So I found my youngest son's tricorn hat in our bedroom, and I said, oh, I should probably wear this on the way back to the podcast. So there's a good visual to start things off.
There are moments in this podcast that I wish we did video recording because listeners, if you could see right now just how tiny a hat this is on Tom's head, it is levels of hilarious like plumbers don't wear ties.
Were you raised in a barn?
It's like on the levels of a cartoon, Looney Tunes cartoon where the real big guy is wearing the really undersized hat on it. I think, what was it, Muggsy and what is it, Mimsy or something, like from South Park. I think that might be the best way to describe it. Just, it does not look right at all.
I was thinking like Chris Farley, but instead of it, fat guy in a little coat, it's like Big guy in a little hat. No, sorry. Bald guy in a little hat. See, he's even grooving. He likes it. Like, Tom, you say and you get irritated at the bald jokes, but I think you secretly love it because it's just easy branding.
It is. It's just, people can find me at the show. That's the way they find me.
Speaking of branding, we get to bring on to the show this week a guy who is branded by the fact that he is part of CGC's history, inexorably tied in a way that this show exists because of the efforts of the people in Tecmo Cleveland, Cleveland Jam, and all in between. Friend of Tom's, myself, and the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Joining us this week, Kevin Molnar. Welcome, man. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. That is, just that intro. I mean, I hate any kind of praise coming my way. No, just destroy it.
I should have give you those notes, Corey. Kevin does not like. He won't even let you take a picture of him. For years, it'd be like, "Hey, Kevin, can I take a picture to memorialize Tecmo Cleveland?" He's like, "Nah." If I do get a picture of him, it's like some terrible photo, and he's looking the other way. But you're modest, Kevin. You're a huge part of the show's history.
Appreciate it.
We can also do the flip side, Kevin. I'll give you another soundbite here, and whichever one you prefer. And I did just take a look, Tom, at the guidelines of the Federal Trade Commission. This should be within bounds of not getting the explicit E. But here's your other sound bit, Kevin. This week on the show, we have just some other asshole. Kevin, welcome, man. Was that better? Did you enjoy that?
Bravo. Just 10 out of 10, no notes.
See, it's just, you got to know your crowd sometimes, Tom. I'm learning. Regardless of whichever introduction you or our listeners enjoy more, and you're welcome to put it in the comments of wherever you found it, because analytics, y'all. Kevin, we always ask anyone coming onto the show, what you playing?
Honestly, I'm kind of a little all over the map, like when it comes to with gaming. Like, I'm trying to actually cut back on Tecmo quite a bit. Like, the last time I think I actually played it was at a tournament in Cincinnati a few weeks ago. Other than that, it's just been pretty much live. We have an online community on the Discord that has multiple custom leagues going constantly, ranging from stuff from the original ROM to customized. You draft a team at the beginning to play as. But to answer your question, not to steer too far from that, I have been ranging from I think the most updated game I've played was probably South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
I love that. Was a good experience. I really enjoyed that game.
Clearly one of the greatest games I've ever played in my life, and the replay value is still off the charts.
Super high.
Oh yeah. That, and I just had recently purchased Turtles in Time for Super Nintendo. So got to play through that and enjoy myself.
Tom, I'm going to put you on the spot here because we're mentioning Turtles in Time, and I think colloquially we all know that it's one of the best mash 'em, beat 'em up games of all time. I know you're partial to Bimmy and Jimmy, Double Dragon 3, but also I know that you're a big Battletoads guy. Tom, would you make a declaration saying which one you think is the best beat 'em up? I mean, we got Toads and Turtles and Dragons. Like, where are you at?
Well, I feel like Battletoads is definitely number one for me.
Bold choice.
Simpsons is strong too, though. I mean, that was a game I spent so many hours playing in the arcade. Turtles 2 or the arcade game. Yeah. I mean, those are probably my top three. I'd probably put that one. I'd probably put Simpsons above Turtles, though. I don't know. It's just different.
There's a surprise factor to the Simpsons game, right? I'd maybe go for going larger in scope. I really enjoyed the X-Men 4-player.
Oh, man. How did I forget
that? Same here. That is a 6 players. Incredible.
So, yeah, that was a big deal. 6 players in the arcade, being able to jam with a bunch of people. I'm also partial to Captain America and his Avengers, because I love spamming Hawkeye.
The sound in that game is so weird.
It's so cheesy.
That announcer screaming "OK, go" and "America still needs your help" is just so funny to look back on.
Be a hero and save America. Leave it to me. What's this?
I totally forgot about America still needs your help. Mom, I need $1. I need quarters. Mom. No, get out of my way. I gotta get the change machine. America still needs my help.
I always got a kick out of Red Skull's little lame laughter in it. Ha ha ha. where did that come from? Like, I'd let this guy win just to hear him laugh all the time.
It's funny though, going back to what you said, Kevin. So are guys still? I wanted to circle back to this for a second. People are still playing. Is the online leagues are still pretty prevalent, or what? What's
They
the
are.
status there?
They're incredibly prevalent. I hate to say, like, I feel like there's. I don't want to say there's too many of them, but there are.
Really?
There's so much. They have one going on right now. It's called HSTL. The thing is, before the season, you draft a team. Like the first overall pick is always QB Eagles. Second one is Bo Jackson.
Mhm.
So you can build a team like that. But they have 3 leagues filled up with it, and it got to the point. It's gotten to the point where they have the top league, a middle league, and I believe it's called the G League, where the G League is filled with newcomers. And are you guys familiar with like the English Premier League and the Champions League?
Oh, sure. Yeah, like regulation and all that.
Exactly. They have regulation, relegation. They have
That's what I meant,
advancements, and it's just incredible. Like with how.
And what are you guys playing these on now? Because I know it used to be there was some different app or something, and I remember being in the lobbies. I'm like, what is this? You had to wait to connect to somebody. It was like
They have a system. Brutopia is the,
okay,
I believe the ROM
I think it's
or
still
the
same
emulator.
thing. Yeah, the emulator.
Yeah. And they have a way where you can just connect to another player via a server or an IP address.
So it's the
and
same thing. I didn't know if there was any.
It's still it's still the same thing, still the same ways of doing things. And the biggest shocker to me is how much detail they go into it. Like there is websites devoted to stat tracking these leagues. Like you'll have by the end of it what players made the Pro Bowl for the AFC and the NFC, what players were the highest rated fantasy players for the season. They have some guys, we tried doing it a while back, where you would do a fantasy football draft and see who would win and who would lose it. But then that kind of backfired. There were several people that caught wind of it, and all they did was, okay, I'm just going to spend the whole season throwing to the same receiver over and over and over again, and kind of screw with the stats. But
yeah.
So to catch listeners up here,
thanks,
because
Tom.
I experienced this, and I did this I think a couple seasons, and then I did an ice hockey season because I loved ice hockey on the NES. So basically, these are online Tecmo Super Bowl leagues. So basically, consider that there's some league somewhere, guys all across the U.S. or wherever, and you basically boot up an emulator. You do something where you connect to some some IP address where you connect to that person. You're playing in the emulator, the Tecmo Super Bowl, or like Kevin was saying, whatever ROM it is loaded. Maybe it's the current season, maybe it's whatever, and you play an online Tecmo Super Bowl game on your computer using a USB, generally NES controller.
exactly.
And that's how this thing works. It's pretty incredible. And keep in mind, Tecmo Bowl came out in what, like 91, 92?
Yeah, I mean 90. I think it was 89 or
Was it?
90, but it was like, but yeah, you still can literally go play anybody like that's still playing this game from anywhere in the country. I know there's some people that play from Mexico, some people that play from Canada. We had.
And you're doing online,
person
Kevin? There used to be also, for listeners, not to get too deep here, Corey, I apologize. We'll eventually come up for air here, but
I'm sitting back drinking my drink. I'm good.
This is how deep this goes. It also used to be like some people would not play online. Kevin, keep me honest, because of the lag and anything else that could happen. Could, let's say, tarnish your reputation in the Tecmo community because you were better than how you played in that game, but because of lag or frame rates or other reasons that you don't experience in a normal CRT face-to-face setting, I may never lose to Corey, but this time Corey beat me. Well, it's because the connection was terrible and something was going on with my internet. Is that still a thing, Kevin?
That is still a prevalent thing, absolutely. But you
Yeah.
get that with every game, though. I mean,
But not when you're playing Tecmo on a CRT face-to-face.
No, not when. Unless someone like hits the system and causes the game to freeze.
That's a whole
like,
other. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
We'll come back
you
to
don't
that
get
one.
I guess the biggest deterrent with the lag is just how kickoffs and field goals are, because kicking a field goal with lag is just insanely difficult. Same thing with trying to get a really good kickoff. Those are probably the biggest deterring factors. But from my experience, I'd say 90% of the time I've experienced just no lag, good gameplay with the occasional, well, this is screwed up type of thing.
And just to get a point of clarification out there for people like myself, I'm of the three of us, the odd one out. This, of course, is Tecmo Super Bowl, a classic game from the NES system. And this has been one of the games, I think, just for cultural context, it's important for us to know. I think it's one of the most heavily modified and culture creating games from that era. And there is a whole professional league that has spawned up from their world championships. And I believe that Cleveland is one of the hubs where a lot of these tournaments take place. Is that correct, Kevin?
That is absolutely correct. I think there are several, mostly in the Midwest, that are yearly events that have like garnered, I'd say, with probably, I'd say the basis would be like 30 to 50 people for these things. Tecmo Madison, of course, was the big one that was every year. That was essentially the World Championships of Tecmo. But since that folded several years back, there's been some that are technically the World Championships, but I mean, it's still, nothing's ever going to replicate Madison. Madison was getting, from what I remember, hundreds of people.
And I remember I shared that with Corey. Remember I shared that with you?
Yeah.
I was like, you know where it was? It was in Madison. And I think your response was what?
Yeah,
of course,
Madison,
of course,
yeah,
of course it was.
Madison is known very well in a lot of different scenes for its competitive hobbyist gameplay. As a Magic the Gathering player myself, it is one of the most competitive areas and a place to train if you want to get better. That's the area. So it doesn't surprise me. Madison is just, yeah, it's a centralized area. If you want to get in with people that just really understand and you want to grow, you get in with the Madison crew. And it's hard to get into the Madison crew. I'm lucky I've been able to be in those closed doors before. It doesn't surprise me that Madison is that place where things like Tecmo World Championships happens, because it's just a town that's great and it has a lot of people that are good at sussing out the best lines to take in a very pragmatic sense, while also connecting with some level of kinesthetic engagement.
So that blows my mind that I mean, Magic and Tecmo are just so vastly different, and it's such. So would you say that Madison community is just basically one ginormous gamer community?
It wouldn't surprise me. In the state of Wisconsin, where I think a lot of listeners have heard me talk way too much about, considering that we're a Cleveland-based podcast, it is a rare little gem in the middle of Wisconsin, and there's a lot of unique things, but gaming is definitely part of it. There's a lot of roots in there. There was even a documentary from ESPN about the Magic scene there on, probably ESPN 8 or 9, the Ocho.
ESPN 8, the Ocho, bringing you the finest and seldom seen sports from around the globe since 1999. If it's almost a sport, we've got it here.
Well, they did the same thing with Tecmo, didn't they? That was the big thing.
The NFL, it was NFL Films that did the Tecmo one years ago, but that was
Madison,
it was kind of like gave the spotlight to that community in the game. Oh, like this exists. Like the same with Magic the Gathering, I would imagine. Like, oh, this exists, and I mean, there is kind of I don't want to say a pinnacle to the game, but if you think you're good, go here at this time and test your mettle. For sure.
Actually, before we get too far in, I thought this episode would be an appropriate one for something that I've been doing all season long. And by season, dear listeners, we mean the convention season leading up to the Cleveland Gaming Classic. And one of the roles that I fit is I go to a lot of those shows. I work at a lot of the booths. And while there, I get to meet some really wonderful fans of the Cleveland Gaming Classic. And I thought, why not integrate the podcast a little bit with the people that we meet at the convention? So I said, hey, do you have any questions that you want to ask myself or Tom or anyone else? And Kevin, you'll be surprised. I actually had a few people that wanted to ask you some questions as well, based on the historical context of CGC and Tecmo Cleveland. I'd love to cover some of those questions here before we dive into anything else, if you guys are okay with that.
Terrified, but bring it on.
Tom, we'll start it easy. I have an easy one. A lot of people have asked it, and I think that, Tom, you can tune into it, and Kevin, we'd love to hear it as well. But they want to know, Tom, what are you most excited for with the Cleveland Gaming Classic this year in 2024? There's a lot of new things we're doing, a lot of exciting things, but is there anything in particular that you're excited for? And Kevin, I know you have seen a lot of what we're coming out with. Has anything really tickled your fancy, as it were?
This year, I'm actually pretty excited to see. I was kind of shocked you guys got him as a special guest, but I've been following Doug Walker's videos for quite a little bit, and the fact that you guys were able to get him, as well as Cinema Snob, and I believe
Malcolm Ray.
Think of Malcolm Ray. That's really cool. Like, I would actually be like, I kind of like, when I saw that you guys booked them, I'm like, wow, that's really impressive. No offense to the other guy. So I just, like I said, I've been a fan of his, following his videos a while. That, and I keep hearing, and I wasn't able to get to try it out last year, but I kept hearing just nothing but positive. Like, you got to try this out. You got to try this out. The pods,
BattleTech pods, yeah.
BattleTech pods, like those things were just, everybody who's like I talked to went in those things said this is one of the coolest things ever. So
yeah, Tom, I think you have to take Kevin into BattleTech at some point.
No, yeah, BattleTech. I think we should get a Tecmo group over to the BattleTech pods. That'd be fun.
I think that'd be hilarious.
You didn't play them last year at all, Kevin?
Too busy.
What are you doing? Busy. You playing like Ken Griffey Home Run Derby the whole time after Tecmo, or what?
Just making sure everybody else is having a good time, and
look at you.
Throwing broken TVs at people.
That's true too.
A consequence of just running a retro video game convention. You find broken TVs wherever you sneeze, Kevin, this next question is for you. I think you might know this person. I didn't catch the name, unfortunately. But they said, how does it feel to be so much better at Tecmo than Tom?
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that allegation.
You definitely are better at Tecmo than me. Are you kidding me? You'd crush me.
It's more of a.
Kevin's a top tier player. He's being going back to the beginning. He's being incredibly modest. I mean, how many tournaments? Honestly, Kevin, like you won a lot of tournaments in the last year or two. I mean, you came up. You did. Yes,
I've never won a tournament.
Didn't you? Did you win Midwest?
I've never won a live tournament.
Who is this we're talking to? I just want to make sure we got the right Kevin.
Schmuck. Some schmuck.
It's just what someone told me. They came up to me, and I think maybe there's like some level of fun ribbing there, perhaps.
Tom is a very unique player, and I guess I just have his number when we play. I also put in the cheat code too. So I mean, everybody knows up, down, down, all that stuff. But I guess Tom just allows it.
These guys that play and again, I'll give Kevin and really the Tecmo community a ton of credit here. These guys are students of the game. They master the game. They understand all the stats, even ahead of this and some of what we have maybe planned a little bit later. I was thinking, man, Kevin knows everything there is to know about this game. I mean, from stats of players and how quickly these guys navigate the menus and do substitutions. I mean, if you've never seen it before, and really the context of why we're doing this as part of CGP today is because if you're not aware, this is how the Cleveland Gaming Classic started. It started with Kevin, myself, and a bunch of other guys who didn't even, frankly, know each other, just meeting up and playing at bars and hanging out and playing Tecmo Bowl.
Those days of the John Salters Full Blast tournaments were, oh my God, those were legendary.
Sometimes we'd have, like 6 people, 7, 8 people show up, and we'd stream it online, and it was a blast.
Adding our own commentary for it.
Right, we had guys were doing live commentary and everything, and and you would learn so much in playing with these guys. And if you've never seen it at the show this year, make sure you stop by the Tecmo Cleveland area, check these guys out playing Tecmo Bowl, learn something, participate. So it's really amazing to see.
Going back to what you were saying about how like a lot of the players know all the ins and outs of the game, you're kind of absolutely right. Tecmo is like one of those interesting games where it's easy to pick up and play. Like anybody can play and throw a 100-yard touchdown pass in it. That's the beauty of it. But it's also one of those hard to master, where I want to say the trick to it is figuring out how to play defense in that game and concede yards, but also put yourself in the best position to stop certain plays. So once you learn that, I mean, the game's a little bit easier in terms of like the gameplay and stuff. Like, just see people constantly getting better and figuring out new things about the game that nobody knew before, and it's a you got to catch up to that.
Yeah, it was always really awesome too, is the way everybody. I remember with you, Kevin, like we'd sit next to each other, and the first things you learn are like matchups, right? I'm sure Corey, it's like the same with Magic or anything, right? Like, what goes against what? What can, what are tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 teams? Who are the players? What should my starting lineup be? And what was always great is like, even when you'd compete against somebody, they'd say, hey, Tom, like, you probably don't want to do that.
That's one of my favorite stories from the first Tecmo Cleveland. I remember going in, I actually thought we were all playing on the Super Nintendo, so I practiced for that, and
which is still one of the top questions we get. Which Tecmo Bowl are we playing here? Is it on the original one, the Super one, or the Super one?
There was only once you play with the regular Nintendo one, there's no going back. Although I do love the Super Nintendo one. I've holds a special place in my heart. But yeah, I remember calling a matchup against Mort of all people. I think it was like Arizona, Cincinnati, and he's just looking at me like, "You sure?" Like, all right, well, I'll take the Bengals, and then he proceeded to like put up 46 on me. So, but he was nice about it. Yeah,
he did it with a smile.
Oh yeah, but he was also another thing about the community that's just so great. It's kind of they want everybody to get better type of thing. It's like the people don't withhold information from others on like certain aspects. It's like, okay, I saw you did this. How do you do that? Oh, here, let me show you. That type of stuff. It's like it's a very, how do I say this? Like I said, everybody wants other people to get better, so the competition gets better.
You're raising the floor to get a higher ceiling.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's similar in the world of Magic the Gathering too, right? Like, you only get better when you play people that are better than yourself, and that's how you learn.
See, that's the beauty of it, though. Like, I feel like that's a really strung community where it's like, okay, nobody's really wants to just hold up to the top spot. They want to keep the spot and have, like you said, raise the floor for everybody else.
Absolutely. I got 2 more questions I'd love to throw out there that I got from some of our fans. This one was from one of our younger fans, Tom, of CGC, and maybe I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you guys can help me out with the question here. It says CGC is mewing hard and is mad lit. You got to get that positive aura and give us some gyat. How you gonna phantom tax all the sigmas? I don't know. Do you guys have any idea?
Just happened?
I recognized like 6 words in that question.
You say mew?
Yeah, mewing.
Oh, it's like a Pokemon reference.
I heard a Pokemon reference, I heard a Mega Man X reference, and I heard a Game of Thrones reference. So.
Yeah, Sigma. Good call.
Yeah.
I thought that was an Animal House reference.
I guess that question we're going to pass.
I was going to offer Kevin. Do you want to take it? You can take it.
Yeah, actually, I'll take it. Always try your best, and if you shoot for the middle, you'll never miss.
I like that. Spread your wings and fly.
Yep.
That's it. And the last thing I have here from the different booths at CGC this year is I got the insider scoop reporter style from someone that came up to the booth and said that Tom apparently owes you $50 in a 6-pack, Kevin. Can you confirm or deny that?
Honestly, I thought it was more than 50, but yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
He's rounding it down, folks. What a mensch. I love it, Kevin.
Go with that.
Probably do owe you money, Kevin, for some.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You're fine.
As long as he gets those free ones off of you, Tom, I think the debt can be forgiven.
I just got an alert PayPal request. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Kevin, I'll get it to you. Send me money.
But all jokes aside, I think what is really important out of this episode, before we get into our end of episode engagement activity, as we like to call it, is making sure people kind of know just how important and how tied Tecmo Cleveland and the Tecmo community is to the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Because the origins come from just, and we've said this many times on the podcast, just people playing Tecmo in a basement in a wedding venue, at Dave & Buster's, and all the places in between. Because it is sprung from those communities that everything else kind of came from it. And I think it's just really important for us to take a second to highlight that contribution that Kevin and the whole community kind of put into it. And that we want to make sure that we show that legacy. So if anything, just being here, Kevin, gives us that space to do it. So while you may not like compliments, hopefully you at least take a gracious thank you, because I think that it has been this conduit for people coming together. And that's so very important in a space where time and distance and technology kind of brings us apart. Just like you said before, Tom, playing on a CRT, right? Versus online play and just getting a chance to go in and see someone and have a beer and a little banter and play a little bit of football.
Couldn't agree more.
This is where we butter you up before we blast you with questions. We hope to see you fail on the podcast, Kevin.
That's fine. That's fine.
And I will say this with the last bit of buttering up Kevin here. It's a weird,
Yeah, that's
no. Tom, try it again.
Just got
I'm not.
creepy.
Let's try it again if you don't mind, Tom. I'm probably not going to edit it out, but
no, I think that's great. I love it. No,
Take
but
two.
No, we didn't.
There were a lot of Kevin, has done a tremendous amount for the show, and I think there's one memory of CGC, just moving arcade cabinets with Kevin. Oh my gosh, you remember that, Kevin? I'm sure you're just like.
Are we talking about the John Salters one?
Yeah, that.
Because I got multiple stories about the arcade cabinet moving things.
So many.
Oh my god.
We literally were running the whole convention with, two people, Kevin and
I have no idea how.
I don't even know how we survived some of those nights.
Those Wagners, I believe that's what that was. Oh, we did it back. I remember moving the cabinets back at the VFW hall. Those were, remember trying to get one up a ramp.
Trying to get them through the ramps and through a door with the turn.
Yeah.
But again, not to understate it, there's a lot that, again, just
this is where I'm going to queue up I Will Remember You. We'll put this in the background.
Remember you. No, but it started with the Tecmo community. Now we're here. So this is fun. It's fun to see everything grow. And Kevin, thanks for all your help. Now, Corey's going to ask you some questions. We're hoping to see you fail. Sounds great.
Okay, cool.
As Tom alluded to, we kind of did a little engagement ahead of time here. And we know that each one of us has a certain domain that we're kind of particularly good at. I've mentioned already, I have Infinity for Magic the Gathering. We all know Kevin from Tecmo Cleveland. And as mentioned in multiple episodes in the past, and I also got a quote from Crazy 8 the Great saying how he is going to savage you in Halo. Tom, you're a Halo fanatic, Combat Evolved. So we kind of...
happen, by the way, it's no chance.
I don't know about that. But we've all kind of wrote up a few questions for each other, and we're going to see who is the most expert at asking questions of other people's domains. So I've got a few questions lined up from Tecmo for Kevin. Kevin, I believe you have some questions for Halo. Is that correct?
I do.
Yep, and that's going to be to Tom. And Tom is going to try to quiz me on Magic the Gathering. And we'll see who kind of gets ahead in their own camp. Who is the most expert in their expert field? I think that I couldn't fit another expert in there if I tried in that sentence, but I did my best.
2 experts is quite enough. You did.
I think I got 3.
Overdoing it.
Instant replay. I think I got 3 in there. I think I got 3. I want full credit. That's what we're going to try to go for here. Full credit. Who is the most expert in their expert field?
You slipped the 3rd one in without even me noticing. So bravo.
I'm subtle, like a knife, like these questions are going to be. So let's go and get this kicked off here. I'm going to start off by asking my assigned Tecmo questions to Kevin. And let me just say already in the course of this episode, y'all have already made me rewrite 2 or 3 of my questions, and that sucks. So this is going to be on the fly here, and we'll see how this goes. But let's start off, Kevin. I'm going to ask you a Tecmo question. I'll keep score here, and as the score counts.
Okay.
Kevin, we kind of fumbled around this answer, but let's start off with the question we already asked earlier in the episode. What year did Tecmo Bowl on the NES get published? What year?
You said fumbled.
I thought that was nice. Thank you, Tom. Tecmo Super Bowl released in what year? I will say that we asked that question and y'all were pretty on the ball.
I know it's either 1990 or 1991, so I'm just gonna go with the 1990.
I'm sorry, you said 1991. I think you broke up a little bit there. Is that right? 1991.
Sure, we'll switch it to 1991.
1991. That is correct. Wow, that's awesome. I heard 91. You heard 91, right, Tom? That's what I heard.
What a nerd.
Well,
I was hoping
Kevin,
you'd fumble that answer.
Well,
you
yeah,
can't
sure.
use my metaphor, Tom. I already used that one. You got to try something else. Stop making safety plays, okay? That's not how you win a game.
Oh, God.
It's not that hard. I'm from Wisconsin, man. We're a football state. Kevin, I'm going to swing it to you. You go ahead and ask a question about Halo to Tom.
All right. So, which weapon was first introduced in Halo 3? Was it the Brute Shot, the Battle Rifle, the Spartan Laser, or the Super Thunder Chunk Pistol?
That last one sounds like a cookie.
Can you repeat the choices again?
Was it the Brute Shot, the Battle Rifle, the Spartan Laser, or the Super Thunder Chunk Pistol?
I'd go with Brute Shot.
That would be incorrect. It was the Spartan Laser.
Yeah.
Yep. Brute Shot was Halo 2.
Dang, I knew it was one of those two. I was hoping it's Brute Shot. Not off to a good start. Not off to a good start.
Looks like you gotta get in the kitchen, man. You gotta cook up some master chefing to get some points, man. Come on, dude.
Jeez, you got these coming out. All right. So
it's been a while since we recorded. I've been like kind of brewing it up. Yep, it's time for me. I'm a little nervous here because Magic has like a span of over 25 years now, so I don't know how deep Tom's gonna go. This could be bad.
And this was really hard for me, I will say, because all right, there's like so much lore with Magic too. Like I used to play Magic. I'm like, wait, I thought it was just like some cards. Now there's like this whole story and everything. Like I don't understand everything I'm reading anymore. All right, here we go. Corey, for you.
Yes.
Who was the first real person to appear on a Magic the Gathering card?
Okay, it's an invitational card. He was a champion from Europe. He actually refused the card first because he thought that the award was a joke, and eventually he looped back around and decided to get it. But I think he actually, because of that delay, I think he wasn't the first. I think he was like the second or third. It's tricky. It's not.
Would you like a hint?
I almost want to say that it was Finkel, but I could be wrong. I think
this person is not alive.
Oh, that's dark.
So they would have not been able to refute this. Refuse the card.
Woof.
It's okay. You sounded right. I was really convinced I was going to accept your answer.
All right, Tom. I think you got me. What's the answer on this one?
Albert Einstein from.
Oh, you're not talking about an invitational card. You're talking about an actual real life person. Okay. You got me on that one, Tom.
I don't know what that means.
So there's, fair play, Tom. Fair play. Yeah, Einstein on Eureka.
Question? I'm so sorry.
This is like way back in the day. They had those. They also had Shakespearean quotes on cards. I thought you meant an invitational card because one of the awards that you can get for the game is you can design a Magic card back in the day with R&D, and then you get your likeness on a card. And there was a bunch of like really iconic players that got that, and now it's part of the World Championships.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
First real life person to
that.
appear on a Magic the Gathering card was Albert Einstein from Presence of the Master or Presence of the Master. I don't know what that means.
Love it. Yeah, I'll take the L on that one. Kevin, I'm going to come to you. Adjusted for inflation, how much did a copy of Tecmo Super Bowl cost? Would it cost in 2024? Your options: A, $60, B, $100, or C, $120. So adjusted for inflation, you bought off the shelf back in '91. How much would it cost today?
I'm gonna guess A, $60. I feel cheap, so yeah.
I wish. It's actually $120.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah, it retailed at $55 back then, and now adjusted for inflation, it would go up to $120.
Those posh kids are getting that game. Then, oh my god!
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought they were like 50 when we were kids. You take that Toys R Us.
I was just thinking, like,
card,
I
you go
can't.
to the counter. I think they were like
I think
$49,
I think it was
$50, right?
I think it probably has
Yeah,
something to do
back
with the
then.
player rights, right? Like maybe it was a little more expensive for that because it was one of the
Maybe.
first games, right? that
Maybe
actually had
I'm just thinking to myself, I would never pay $100 for any video game.
games today. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my god, no. Like, that's just
Collector's
that's just
edition, it
completely-
better have a good figurine. That's why I'll pay that money.
Concur. Either that or it cleans your house.
Nice. I'll take a video game that cleans my house. Is it like it's like one of those Roomba live kind of games? You're like doing something. I don't know. I've lost the thread on this one. Kevin, go and
you're
ask
good,
Tom
you're
a
good.
question.
All right. So I got one. I'm a little curious. Are you familiar with the web series Red versus Blue at all time?
I am familiar. It's been about 15 years since I've seen an episode.
All right. I got to back up to that one then. Never mind. All right.
He's calling an audible, Tom.
Okay.
Corey, you're hot.
In the original Halo Combat Evolved, which vehicle was indestructible? Was it the Warthog, the tank, the Ghost, or all of the above?
I know the tank was. I feel like in the first one, you could just drive the tank around. Warthog, Ghost, or all of the above. And I feel like I can remember the Ghost just like perpetually flying around the screen. Gosh.
I love that you hit the original Halo here, Kevin, because everyone remembers, Halo 2 LAN parties, Halo 3, but you're going to what we should resonate with, but no. It's like the Mass Effect equation, right? No one remembers the first one.
Yeah, it's got to be. And I can see the Warthog just spinning over and over. I'm going with all of the above. All the above.
That was correct. You can't destroy any single one. That feature was only brought into effect, I want to say, in Halo 2. So, yeah. Just blow up the Warthog, flip it over, and it works like brand new. Well done. Well done.
Here, I'm going to pause for Corey to insert applause effect here. You're welcome. That was for me.
Greetings, everyone. Future Corey here. I wanted to address the thing on everyone's mind, and that is having an easy opportunity to dog on Tom here. While I could have used my power, I figured it'd be better to give him a little bit of an upraise. I mean, CGC is less than a month away after all, and in the words of our final boss, let me have this one, bro. Now, we return to our regularly scheduled chicanery.
All right, I got a question for Corey.
Whatever makes you feel happy, dude.
Hey, I'm taking it.
You're the one telling me what cabinets to move in September, so I'll give you whatever joy you want.
This is Kevin thinking, thank God it's not me anymore.
Corey is killing me with these, man. It was just like I didn't expect. I was hoping for stat questions. I'm like, adjusted for inflation. Crap. When did the game come out? I don't know.
Dude, you're 1 for 2. You're tied with the top mark.
All right, Corey.
Tom.
How many of the original 8 expansion sets for Magic can you name?
Oh, Jesus. Is it? Well, do I have to make a mark to get a point on this one? Like, is that? Do I get a?
You need to get 5 out of 8. You need to get more than 50%.
5 out of 8.
Yeah.
Alpha, Beta, Antiquities.
No, the expansions.
So Arabian.
Alpha.
Oh,
Yes.
so Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Ice Age is going to be in there. Homelands, I want to say. Fallen Empires. Am I at 5? Do I have to embarrass myself any further?
You're at 4.
Oh no.
Ice Age is not in there.
Ice Age is not in there? Oh gosh. So we're really thinking it's Portal isn't one of them, I don't think. Okay, you're not giving me Alpha or Beta. So it's Revised? Legends. Give me Legends.
I'll give you Legends. You're at 5.
I'll take it.
So I have
I'm done. I'm done.
Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends.
Chronicles. Are you counting Chronicles as one?
The Dark.
The Dark, yep. Dark's fine.
Fallen Empires.
Yep. Worst set ever.
Which I love the Fallen Empires with Goblin deck. It was fun. Homelands. And Alliances.
Okay. Alliances had the original pitch spells, Force of Will, still like living up there.
Big applause for Corey there.
I don't even know if I should give myself the point because I guessed a few ones that are definitely not within there, but that's all right. That's all right.
I've just been so worried about these questions, the phrasing on them. This is like, I feel like it's talking to someone about Lord of the Rings or something with such lore that to my last question, just the wording of it was slightly off, so it makes the whole question wrong to begin with.
The worst thing is Tom's choosing the worst part of my game, which is basically anything before 2003, and he's like chosen 2 things in a row. That's like,
sorry.
No, this is back when you're only kind of awake and alive. I'm like, nope. But we're 1 for 1. That's fine. All right, guys, let's all tie this up. 1 question left for each of us. We can all walk out with 66.6 repeating percent course. I think we can hold our heads up high here. Kevin, I'm going to go to something you mentioned, like it was killing you a little bit with the numbers. I'm going to go from numbers. We're going to go to pop culture, because Tecmo Super Bowl was featured in a pop culture television show in an episode.
Guy.
Okay, fine, you got it. Good job.
Come on, man. We all.
Yeah, that's the best.
I mean, I like that show. It's so damn funny. Between that and the double dribble, it's
corner 3. Corner 3.
Corner 3. It's a rout. It's a blowout. It's some bull crap.
You know why those 2 things just work really well? You don't have to know the games, but you know the players that do those things, and you're like,
you're just cheating, dude. It's funny actually though. The thing about the Family Guy Tecmo bit is that scene infuriates me. Not for Peter running around with Bo Jackson or anything, but I think Joe is Indianapolis, and they're the worst team by far in the game. So, of course, you're going to be able to do that to anybody. And it's like, no, nobody would call that matchup. No, that's bullshit. He should not. Why are you giving him the Raiders, dude? No, that's terrible. Absolutely awful.
See, that sounds like something I would say in certain matchups of like Magic the Gathering. I'd be like, I'm not gonna get into words and lore, but yeah, I hear you, man. Same thing, right? Like we understand like the matchups and the putting together. It's like, no, that would never happen in real life. Get out of here.
But by the way, I just looked it up. It's New England, who is just as bad as Indianapolis. So yeah, no, same difference at that point. So.
All right. Well, Kevin, we're gonna give it to you to give Tom his last question. Know this, Kevin, that you can potentially walk out with a big W if you can trick Tom, and then Tom can trick me. So you could walk away with the trophy today.
Let's keep it in the pop culture a little bit. All right, Tom, in Halo 4, which late night talk show host lended his voice for a cameo? I have choices if you want. If not, no worries.
I think it's gonna be Conan, but I'd like to hear.
The choices are Kimmel, Conan, Colbert, or Jimmy Fallon.
There's actually a few people in that list that I could legitimately think would want and could do the cameo.
I know Conan had the whole whatever stupid gamer series, what he did back in the day, Clueless Gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmel, I don't really see. Or the Fallon was one.
Fallon and Colbert were the other two.
Colbert would be my runner-up. I'm gonna go with Conan.
Yeah, correct. Him and Andy Richter both voiced guards. Yeah,
that's funny.
There's a great YouTube clip of their outtakes, and it's downright hilarious.
Wait, I have to watch this. That's like the first thing I'm gonna look up after the podcast.
Yeah.
So what characters did they do?
They were 2 guards just guarding like cargo.
Oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this.
It reminds me of Daniel Craig being that one stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. I'm like, you would never know, but we know.
Yeah.
All right, Tom. So you
what's
at least
the score? I was gonna say what score is right now.
So it's 2s around except for me going into my last question. I can tie the table, or I get to walk away with the tiny tricorn hat of shame on my head.
I have it here. Stand by.
You got
All
this.
right. All right. So I will, like Kevin, I will stick with a little pop culture reference here. So let's say a year ago or so, there was a record-breaking sale for a Magic the Gathering card.
The One of One ring. Yep.
What was the other card that sold for more than that card? And what might it be? It's a 2-part question. Maybe this is where you can earn bonus points and go for the W here. There was one card that sold for more than that one card, and what did it sell for? Any idea?
I'm trying to because right now we're in this like stage of the game where there's just so many individual and unique treatments. There's like exclusive cards inside of WotC. I mean, to me, the card that would sell is the 2 million one of one ring. So I don't know what sells for more than 2 million of the one of one, unless it's a Black Lotus that went to market at like a PSA as close as it could be, 8 or 7. I can't imagine anything would be higher than that. So
I'm waiting for your answer. I'm waiting for your answer.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to say some, like, I unfortunately can't come up with whatever headline besides that one would be the one. So it's gonna be a Black Lotus that goes to the market, and I'll take the L.
Well, you're right. That's exactly what it was. Oh
Wow.
man. Yes, the Black Lotus.
Yeah.
From the original printing of the first Magic the Gathering, sold as a 10 out of 10 pristine.
Oh, they did get a 10 out of 10. That's
$3
nice.
million.
$3 million. Yeah.
The Black Lotus is back on top. I remember the Black Lotus from back in the day. So
good.
Nice job,
good
Corey.
For Black Lotus. Good for Black Lotus. Yeah, you definitely gave me the cheese sweats there for a second, as I wasn't like fully sure about that.
You did great.
Yeah, I guess they found a 10. It's not one of the sorcery playtest cards. It's a proper, like, from Alpha. Yeah.
Limited edition Alpha CGC
Yep.
Pristine 10.
Yeah, that makes sense. But hey, in the end, guess what? Just like anyone that goes to Disney, we're all winners. Good job, y'all. 2 out of 3. Give yourselves, I don't know, a cookie or a Hot Pocket or maybe a frosty beer, as we all get to be winners. But Tom and I get to be the biggest winners because, Kevin, you got to come and join the show this week. It's been a pleasure to hang out and get to know a little bit more about you and all the great things that you do. Thanks for joining us, man.
Glad to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Tell our listeners, if they maybe don't know too much about Tecmo Cleveland or the World Championships, where they might be able to join up or find community. Is there a place that they can dig into, a Facebook group or a Discord or anything like that?
There is a Discord we have going on. I'll post a link to the Facebook page when this goes live. I unfortunately don't know. I mean, there's a link. It would be channels, and then it's a bunch of numbers dash whatever. But I will definitely post a link to the Discord where you can join online leagues and meet a bunch of cool people and just chill out and play Tecmo.
Some of that's debatable, by the way.
Which one? Playing Tecmo or
like I said, some of it is. I'm not going to claim what.
Tom being coy and subtext. Check mark on the episode. We got there.
I'm good for it.
I mean, you could also check us out on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure if you just look up Cleveland Gaming Classic Tecmo or I'm trying to think of other ones, Tundra Bowl, Midwest Tecmo, you'll be able to find videos of the tournaments from years ago and stuff like that. See a bunch of gameplay footage.
Yeah, there's a lot out there, though.
That.
Like Kevin's saying, if you're looking for other tournaments too, Midwest has one, Tundra Bowl in Nebraska, Detroit has a big tournament. So there's a lot here, specifically, like you said at the beginning, Kevin. There's a lot in the Midwest. So
exactly, we're pretty much located. I don't want to say pretty much located in the Midwest, but the majority of the events are in the Midwest.
Absolutely. You know, the best thing they could do too is come and join the Cleveland Gaming Classic this year, and they can catch you, Kevin, and come see a little bit of Tecmo being played by professionals. Let's go. I don't know how it would work in the NFL or even the Tundra Bowl, Tom, but splitting a trophy into 3 parts, you know, the Disney way says everyone's a winner, but I have to say, at the end of it, Tom, your Magic questions were very valid. And you just happened to pick a real weak duck sauce part of my game. So kudos to you. You made it competitive. You sniped me, just like in Halo.
Sniped you, headshot. And I had some easier ones, and I had some harder ones. Are you curious at all?
I am just the right amount of curious.
Easy one. Who created Magic? You should know this.
Dr. Richard Garfield, of course.
Ooh, doctor. Nice touch.
Yeah, he's a doctorate.
And another one that I had, which I was hoping maybe to catch you off on. Can you name the 5 colors of Magic?
Yeah, that's tough.
I know. You should get this.
Cerulean, magenta, the hue of pink that the pink Power Ranger was in Power Ranger Zeo, and turquoise.
Those all track.
Boom. I gotta say as well, Tom, I think you did good with those questions, but also, I think Kevin did a great job. I really loved hearing how some of the narratives, like say in my community, the Magic community, and I'm sure in Halo there's matchups between shotguns and different vehicles. All those like resonate, and I love seeing how those little competitive things, when you get down to the granular nature of games, fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it's great. And Kevin, you heard him at one point say he was really hoping for some like in-depth Tecmo trivia, like knowledge, because like I said, it came out during the podcast and we were talking about like these guys know the stats, the players, the teams, everything. I mean, you're like, for listeners, stop by the Tecmo Cleveland area at CGC. You will not be disappointed. It's amazing.
There's so much to learn at the Cleveland Gaming Classic, whether it is something you've known for decades or something you're becoming brand newly affiliated to. We'd love to know, what is it you want to learn more about at CGC? Are you interested in the Tecmo community? Maybe you want to dive into the pinball scene, or maybe you're a cosplayer and you want to check out our awesome cosplay zone. Let us know the things that you're looking forward to learning more about in the comments. Of course, follow us, the Cleveland Game Podcast, wherever you can download, and of course, CGC itself on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and don't forget the show is coming up oh so very soon, September 20th through the 22nd, IX Center. Get your tickets today. Experiences are also live, so make sure you check out the signings, the competitive things, the tournaments, Dunk Jam, and more. You got to go check out Game Cleveland. Exciting things are happening on that website.
But Corey, what do you think? Should we hit save on this file for now?
Maybe we'll write down that password as well. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Cleveland Gaming Podcast. My name is Corey.
And this is Final Boss Tom.
And you have been listening to the Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
Cleveland Gaming Podcast.
We'll check you on the next one.
Powering down.